Hello everybody, this is going to be a quick demo where we build an iterator. In this case we're going to build an iterator that iterates over an array. We're going to make that a generic iterator, and you see we're using it here. We have create an array of names, and then we can iterate over them, print them out, and then an array of integers, numbers, and then we'll iterate over them and print them out. Now if I run this, okay, it throws not yet implemented exception. So let's go ahead and build that. So we're going to iterate over this array, and just like this is a generic class, and it's going to implement an iterator of type E. So E is what we're going to refer to what becomes string and integer or whatever we use outside. And so we're going to have to we're going to be iterating over this array, so we're going to have to keep it. So let's hang on to it so that we can use it later. So let's hang on to the array. The other thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to keep track of some state. We're going to have to keep track of where we are as we're going through each of the items in the array. So let's keep track of the index. Now let's, in the constructor, hang on to the array that gets passed into us, and then we can assign index to be 0. By default, integers are 0, but it doesn't hurt to be explicit there and say that. Now we're going to be left with implementing these two methods. Has next, what we're going to do is we're going to march index through. So every single time we give out a next, we're going to move that up. So we'll know we're at the end if this dot index, it'll have a next if this dot index is less than this dot array dot length. Okay. And then for next, we could just say, well, what's the current next? Well, that's going to be the current next is going to be this dot array sub this dot index. Okay, and then I could return that result. Now, if I do this, it's going to have an error when I run it. Right? So if I run this, you see it just stays stuck on Bobby forever. That's because I didn't increment index every time. So if I say this dot index plus plus here, then it will work and we print out all of our values correctly. Now you can do this whole thing on one line if you want, but there's nothing wrong with I kind of like just getting my result, then updating, and then returning it. There's an additional method on here, on iterator, to remove. By default, it's sort of unsupported. It'd be tricky to remove something from an array, but for your assignment, you're going to actually remove items from your list.